Let's take a look at how the group by clause works in SQL. The group by clause can be used in a select statement to collect data across multiple records and group those results by one or more columns. Now, it's often used with the following aggregate functions. So it's used normally with the count function, the max function, the min function, the sum function, and the average function. Let's take a look at this in practice to get a better understanding as to how it actually works, to know when to use it and what the value will be when using it. So today we'll be looking at our vehicle table. So we'll do a select statement on that to see the records that are there. So as you can see, we have 8 records in this particular table that has 4 columns. What the group by will allow us to do is, if we are interested in finding out what is the sum of all the makes for Honda and for Toyota, and we'd want that result to return in one query, what we'd be able to do is use the group by function in addition to the use the group by clause in addition to the sum function to be able to get that information. So our statement would look like this. So we'd start off by saying select. We would then identify the columns that we are interested in. So in this case, we are interested in seeing the make column to identify the specific makes. So we'd say make. Then we are interested in finding out the sum of all of those vehicles with a particular make. So we'd use the sum function, and to use that you would call the sum keyword and put in bracket the column that you're interested in getting that information from. So in this case it would be the cost column. And then we would identify the table that we want to get the data from. So in this case it will be the vehicle table. Now the most important part to utilize the group by is to include the group by clause. So what we would do now is provide a group by clause. So group by. Then what you would do is provide the column that you wish to have the data grouped by. Now you can provide one or more columns, but in this case we're going to provide one column as the aggregated functions are automatically grouped based off of the column that you would submit. So in this case we are interested in grouping by make. So we'll now execute this statement, and what we are seeing now is for the make Honda, the sum of the cost for all of those vehicles is 129,000, whereas for Toyota the sum is 170,000. Now you can utilize more than one functions at a time with using a group by. So if we were interested in seeing how many records exist in the group in Honda, we can actually add a count function to this statement. So what we would do is add count, and with the count function, as we know, we can name a specific column, or we can use the star function, or use any value, because the counting would just iterate over every record and add 1 to it. So in this case we'll just use 1, and now we're going to re-execute, and what we're seeing now is it grouped the make into Honda, provided the sum of the cost, and counted the amount of records that were present for each grouping. So we have 4 for Honda and 4 for Toyota. And let's re-execute our original select statement that will show everything in the table. And we can see we have 4 vehicles that are Honda and 4 that are Toyota. Now, we're able to use it in various ways. So, if we wanted to find specifically all the vehicles that are with the model as Civic. No, you know what, specifically, let us go with the color. So we are interested in grouping all the vehicles by color in addition to the make type. So what we'd want to do is we would include that additional column in our select statement. So we're interested in grouping by the make as well as the color. So we provide the color column, but unlike the function, you have to include that additional column in the group by so that it will know to make an adjustment to group in addition to the make, also the color. So what we'll be doing is adding that column into the group by clause. And now if we were to execute, what we will see is it will group based off of the make and then the color and then provide the sum and the count. So executing, what we are seeing now is it grouped Honda with black and then provide the sum of that cost and the amount of vehicles that fell in that category. Now with Honda, there were 2 vehicles that had the color white. So what it did is it grouped those 2 vehicles with the color white and provided the sum of that and the count displaying those 2 vehicles. So this is just a simple way of how you can go about using the group by function. The group by clause with functions, and also it can be executed without functions. So if we were to remove these 2 columns from our select statement and re-execute the query, it's successfully completed. It just does not have those additional columns that would provide us with more context. So takeaways: using the group by function, you have to provide the column names in the select statement as well as provide the exact column names that were used in the select statement in the group by section. You do not need to include the columns that are used with an aggregated function such as the count, min, max, average, because those are automatically added in the result set when using the group by.